CVSC, and I'm delighted to see so many of you today joining our launch of Loto Lwcus. I'm really excited to be able to share this great opportunity for all of our community and volunteer groups to be able to fundraise safely and sustainably. I know how difficult the last 10 months have been. We are unable to rely on our usual fundraising activities, and the pressure on grant funds is greater than ever. So here it is, our offer to you. Please enjoy the launch and get in touch with any one of us at CVSC should you require any more information or assistance in signing up. Diolch yn fawr, thank you. I'm going to pass over to Ben Spear now, who'll do the main presentation for us. Thank you.
Hello everyone. To introduce myself, I'm Ben Spear. I'm the Managing Director of a company called Gatherwell. So we've been appointed to be the people behind the scenes that are going to be running this lottery. We run about 80 of these community lotteries up and down the country for about 6,500 individual good causes, kind of probably very similar to yourselves across the country. So it's kind of an opportunity to join the family of all these other local authority areas and CVSs and various other kind of groups that are running community lotteries to support local good causes. And it's very much a kind of platform that is designed to be about local people supporting local causes. So I get the pleasure of taking you through the presentation and explaining how it all works. So I'm going to have to share my screen. So bear with me 1 second while I get the technology to work. And hopefully you can all see that. Can you see that?
No. No.
Nope. That's not a good start, is it? You see it now? I think it should be working now.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Good stuff. Right, so I've got the presentation to take you through. So kind of 20, 25 minutes probably just to take you through the thing, and then we'll kind of take some questions and what have you at the end. So, first slide. So I really wanted to introduce the lottery to you in the first instance. So Loto Lwcus, is it Lwcus? I'm looking at the way it's spelled, but I think it's Loto Lwcus. It's a new initiative, and it's obviously been kind of brought to you by Community and Voluntary Support Conwy. But we're behind the scenes bringing our expertise to the party to deliver it. So we are something called an external lottery management company, which basically means we're licensed by the Gambling Commission to run lotteries like this for other people. So that's the kind of basis of our business. And I suppose the important thing though is that this is very much being launched to support good causes locally in the kind of Conwy area. So it's very much about a local lottery to support your local community and the good causes that you have in the area. So today's presentation, I'm going to take you through a number of things. I'm going to start by taking you through how it works for supporters, because we found in the past the best way to explain the lottery is to really kind of talk about it from the perspective of a player and in terms of how it works and what have you. So I'll start there. I'll talk about how we split the pound, which probably gives you a bit of a clue as to how much tickets are going to be. And then I'll talk about prizes, because people play the lotteries not just because it's an opportunity to support good causes, but obviously they want a chance to win a prize as well. And I'll talk about the prize structure that we've got. Then I'm going to talk, I suppose, the important bit for yourselves about how it's going to work for good causes and what kind of support we're going to be able to give you to make it a success. And then obviously I want to talk about how it's going to work and all the rest of it, but then I'm going to ask a bit of a commitment of you. If you sign yourselves up, you kind of at the end of this think this is a good idea and want to be part of it, then we're going to ask a bit of a commitment of you to really make it a success for the future. So if I start with how does it work for supporters, this is a kind of fairly busy chart, but it builds, so I'll kind of take you through the detail of it. So the first thing to really highlight is that we're going to ask the majority of supporters to come and visit a website. So CVS Loto Lwcus .co.uk is the name of the URL of the website, and that's where we're going to be inviting people to come to sign up for the lottery. Now it's a weekly online lottery, and we're going to have draws every week on a Saturday at 8 o'clock, and in a fairly traditional way the more numbers that people match, the bigger the prizes are going to be. Now, I said in the main, we're going to be inviting people to visit the site. We are conscious that certain people might not have access to the internet or capabilities or confidence buying tickets online. So we also have a telephone number. So if players are kind of uncomfortable doing stuff online, then we can set people up over the telephone as well, and they can talk to the support team and hopefully be reassured that it's a legitimate offer that we're kind of bringing to them to be able to play. Now, tickets do cost £1 a week, and each ticket is going to consist of a 6-digit combination. So slightly different to, say, those of you who would have played the National Lottery, where it's where people choose numbers between 1 and 59. The order of those numbers doesn't matter, and you can only choose each number once. Ours is different. As effectively is this 6-digit number that we're asking people to choose. So you can repeat the digits within that number, and effectively it's digits between 0 and 9 that people can choose, but it's a 6-digit combination. The order of the number is actually quite important. Well, it's kind of paramount to its selection. There's a million different combinations that people can select, and therefore there's a 1 in a million chance of winning the jackpot. But that's effectively what we're trying to do. We're getting them to choose a 6-digit combination. Now, that combination, they can either choose themselves or they can allow the system to choose the numbers for them. But ultimately, that's what each ticket will consist of, a 6-digit combination. And you might say, well, that's fairly traditional. Lots of people do lotteries in that kind of way. There's lots of different offers that people can go online and kind of in a physical form and have a lottery very similar to that. But the thing that makes this different is about how money gets allocated to good causes. So if you play the National Lottery, for instance, 28% of the money that gets raised goes back to support good causes, but it's kind of out of the hands of the player. It's down to somebody else to make the decisions as to whether that goes to sport or heritage or the big lottery fund. It's kind of, ultimately it's decisions made by a committee of how that money gets allocated out. We're trying to empower the players in this instance to really kind of make the difference and be able to choose who the key beneficiary of the money is that's going to get raised. So part of the gameplay is that they will be able to choose a good cause, and that could well be your cause. It could be the local food bank, the local cat charity, the local scout group, whatever it might be. But the one that's important to them, they'll be able to choose that cause, and they will become the major beneficiary of the money that gets raised. And I'll talk about the split of the money in a moment. Now, when it comes to paying for the tickets, we essentially want to encourage as many people as we can to be buying tickets on a recurring payment plan. Now, there's huge benefits in that, in the sense that in having a recurring payment plan, the support, the effort that goes into marketing the lottery to support a particular good cause, then they have long-term benefits by staying and being able to kind of support for the long term. So for that, we can either set people up on a direct debit payment on a monthly basis, or we can set a monthly recurring payment card payment as well. So just on their debit cards. But we are conscious that some people don't like to have that recurring commitment. So we do allow people to buy blocks of tickets as well. So they can buy 1, 3, 6 or 12 months in a block up front, and then there's no kind of recurring commitment. Now, the one thing we don't do is allow people to buy just a single 1 week's ticket. And that is by design. We want people to, as I say, have these recurring payment plans. And therefore, we kind of don't give people that option. But we do obviously have a minimum commitment, therefore, of a month. But it is £1 a week for people to play. Now, when people win, they'll have signed up and given us their email address, at which point we'll be able to kind of email them to say, congratulations, you've won. And so we've got the details, so we can tell them that they've won. And if they win a cash prize, we're going to invite them to come back to the website to claim their win. And we do that for 2 reasons. One is if they paid on a card, then actually we need some bank details to be able to pay the money to. But more importantly, we give them a choice and we say, do you want to take the money yourself, or do you want to donate it back to the good cause that you were supporting? And across the other lotteries we're running, we find about 10% of people will do that. Because of the relationship they have with that cause, they're quite happy to see their winnings go back to the good cause. And we've had people donate as much as £2,000 back to their nominated cause because of the great work and the relationship that they've got with them. And then this is how we split the pound. So I mentioned the National Lottery. I said 28% of the money from the National Lottery goes back to support good causes. Well, this is all about supporting good causes. So 60 pence in the pound is going to go back to support good causes in total. Now, 50p is going to go back to the particular cause that the player chooses. So 50 pence in the pound goes to the individual cause, and then 10p is going to go to the central fund, which is going to be administered by Community and Voluntary Support Conwy. Now, 20 pence will go back to support the prize structure, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then 20 pence goes to support the kind of running costs. And unfortunately, HMRC in their wisdom deemed that our service charge that we charge as a business incurs standard rated VAT. So there's a few pennies of VAT that make it into the pound as well. And that's kind of part of the running costs associated to it. Now, when it comes to prizes, we've got a nice prize structure that is there to support everyone. And the idea of the prize structure is that we wanted to do something that would enable a kind of motivational prize structure. So if someone matches the jackpot, so if they get those 6 digits in the way that they're selected for that week, if they match them exactly in the same order, then, as I mentioned, a 1 in a million chance, but they would win £25,000 in that instance. Now, we then match on the front and the back of the combination. So if someone matches the first 5 digits in the correct order or the last 5 digits in the correct order, then they'd win £2,000. If they match the first 4 or the last 4, they win £250. Last 3 or the first 3 in the correct order, then they win £25. Or the first 2 or the last 2 in the correct order, then they win 3 free tickets. Now, the way the price structure works is an odds-based structure. So it doesn't matter how many tickets we sell, every ticket has those odds of winning a prize. The way it works, though, is that obviously the more tickets that get sold, the more frequently those winners will come out at the different levels. Now, the jackpot, you might be as lucky as, say, South Kesteven Council were when they had their very first draw. They had a jackpot winner on their first draw. But it does mean that we'd need to be selling 1 million tickets a week to guarantee a jackpot winner every week. And that's not necessarily going to be the case. So we recognise that that's a risk associated to people not having that. But we want to be able to offer the £25,000 jackpot prize from day one. So what we do is we insure the risk of someone winning that prize using prize insurance. So we effectively insure the risk, and therefore it means that, irrelevant of how many tickets have been sold, we've always got the capability to pay all the prizes, and Gatherwell underwrites the risk of all the other prizes, but effectively the jackpot prize, we use prize insurance just to cover that extended risk there. Overall, though, it's a 1 in 50 chance of winning a prize, so nice chance to win something, and obviously win or lose, though, it's the good causes are the big winners, whatever happens. Now, the next part that we've got is that we're also able to offer bolt-on prizes additionally to the platform. So one of the things we'll be doing is having a launch prize. So if someone signs up to be included in the first draw, I believe there's a £250 Amazon voucher to be won, in addition to the other prizes that will be there. Now, I'm sure Community and Voluntary Support Conwy would be very pleased to see other people donate prizes or kind of other things as well. That's certainly something part of the platform can accommodate. And in addition, Gatherwell actually underwrite a national programme of bolt-on prizes. So all of those different lotteries that I mentioned, they can be included in the broader bolt-on prize draws. And we run a programme of 6 or 7 of those a year to encourage participation. And that's just what it's about. It's about encouraging people to give them an additional opportunity to win something. But obviously the core offer of the lottery is kind of key. So next page is all about how it works for yourselves as good causes. So we set the website live over the weekend, overnight, and the site went live, and there's a subsection of the site which is dedicated to you as good causes. So we'll invite you to go into the same part of the site, the fundraiser section, and that's where you'll be able to apply to join one of the good causes in the platform. Now, the application process to join is really easy. It's done online and it just takes a few minutes. We're going to ask you effectively to do 4 stages of that process. The first stage is to create a user account. So the user account is designed to be something that, I don't know if people can perhaps mute the background noises. We've got a few noises coming through on the thing. Perhaps if I could ask everyone to mute themselves. Yeah, so the stage is quite easy. It's kind of, the first stage is to create a user account in the same way as you would if you wanted to buy tickets. Then you can use that account to buy tickets, but effectively we need a bit of information about who you are. Then we need some information about your cause. So contact details, what kind of cause you are, the kind of aims of your organisation, what kind of formal structure have you got? Are you a constituted group? Are you a community interest company, or are you a registered charity? That kind of information. So that's stage 2. And stage 3 is what I call the marketing blurb. Now, this is very much about you providing some reasons as to why people should support your cause. Now, this directly translates onto a page that we're going to create for your good cause. So your cause will have its own page on the lottery site, and effectively we'll be trying to encourage you to direct your players and supporters to visit your page on the site, because if they buy a ticket from your page, the association between the player and your organisation is made, and that's where that kind of link is made. So you want to be encouraging people to visit your page on the website to buy tickets to support you. So this is your opportunity to pre-populate that page, if you like, with some information as to why people should support you. So what do you do as an organisation? How would the money that gets raised benefit? What might you spend it on? That kind of, sort of cues and points that you might want to encourage people to support your organisation directly. Now, the final stage of the process is simply to upload your logo. Now, we do recognise not everyone has a logo, so don't worry if you haven't got one, but it's quite useful to help signpost people to say they're supporting your cause directly if you've got that information. So if you have got a logo, then that will be an opportunity to upload on there. And effectively, that's it. That's all we need in order to be able to get you live. Having said that, though, this isn't your lottery. It's the lottery of Community and Voluntary Support Conwy. They're the ones that have had to get the license to be able to run this, and they're the ones that ultimately are taking on the responsibility for all the kind of legal compliance and the kind of returns and what have you. So they're going to do a bit of due diligence to check that you qualify and hit the criteria. I'm sure by virtue of the fact you've been invited to this event, you're probably well known to CVSC, so therefore there's a good chance that you'll be included, but they will need to do just some checks and balances just to make sure that you hit that criteria. And then once you're approved, then you're going to be able to market the lottery to your supporters to encourage people to play. And then obviously what we'll have is we'll have a position where we'll start having draws every week, and we'll start raising some money. And then once a month, we will be in a position where we can pay you the money that's been raised. So all those 50p's, they soon start to add up, and you can start to get a monthly payment from the lottery to support your organisation. As I mentioned before, about 95% of people will probably sign up on a recurring payment plan. So actually, it's quite useful for you to then be able to kind of rely on a regular income coming from the lottery that you can kind of really rely on and be able to make a difference to the performance of your organisation and the delivering the objectives and the kind of things that you're working on. And I suppose the most important point for yourselves is this is free to join. There's no cost associated with you coming on the platform and joining the platform. It's free to join, and obviously, once it's up and running, you can be raising money in a very short period of time. So this is an example of the kind of page that we'll be creating. So this is my cause, the Three-Legged Cat Charity, supporting cats with 3 legs and less. And this is the kind of page that we're going to be creating for you. So this is where it says there, the Three-Legged Cat Charity. That's where you'll kind of get the information about what cause that the person is supporting. The picture where the cat is, that's where your logo will go. And you can see there's a totalizer bar. So we've taken cues from sites like Just Giving so that people can see how their contribution is making a difference. if you click the buy tickets button on this page, effectively you'd then be supporting the Three-Legged Cat charity. So that's what we're trying to do, encourage people to visit this page, and then the association is made between the player and the organisation. The bit where it says about us, that's your opportunity to do your little sell as to why people should support. And then you can see there's things down the left-hand side there, so a bit of information about how many supporters, recent supporter detail kind of comes through. You've got sort of when the next draw is, draw results, all of that kind of detail. Plus there's some social media buttons that people can share and tweet about the fact that they've bought tickets to support and what have you. So that's the kind of page that we'll be creating for you. You can see there's also an administer this lottery button. This would only be visible to the people that are administering the lottery on behalf of your different organisations. So if you're set up as an administrator, you'll have access to a dashboard of information. And I've got a little video I'm going to share in a second where you can hear a bit more about how the dashboard works. So that's the page that we'll be creating for you. And then what we want to do is make your life as easy as we can to help promote it. So you'll have access to some marketing materials that you'll be able to use to help promote the lottery for the benefit of yourselves and the organisation. So this is an example of some marketing materials that we've got for Buckinghamshire Lottery. So this was one of the first lotteries that we launched of this type. And you can see this one happens to be co-branded with Great Brickell Cricket Club. So this is one of the good causes on the Buckinghamshire Lottery. This happens to be a printable version. So it has things like a search term and the kind of where the URL of the website. But effectively, there's different versions of the lottery of these materials. So we have a digital version, which has embedded links that you could send out as a PDF. We have versions that you can use on social media, so on Facebook and Twitter. So different versions of the materials. Everything's provided in a digital format, but the idea being that you can then use it to the versions that are best suited for communicating with the audience that you might well have. Right, so the next slide is a video. So fingers crossed this is going to work. Let me just check I've got the share my computer sound on. Yeah, right, okay. So I'm going to play this video, which will tell you a bit more about how the lottery works. He says confidently, thinking, no, that's gone, that's missed.
So you've signed up as a good cause. Now what do you need to do? Well, you need to let people know about it so they sign up and support your cause. We do all of the boring hard stuff for you, and we even give you tools to promote it, but you need to use them to spread the word. Start shouting from the rooftops and let as many people know as possible. Remember, the more people who know about your lottery page, the more supporters you will get and the more money you will raise. The sky's the limit. Never stop recruiting supporters. Not only do you scoop 50p from every ticket they buy, but they also help spread the word for you. And because people sign up as long-term supporters, you raise 50p from their tickets every week. And it all soon starts adding up. But it won't happen on its own. All you need to do is keep spreading the word. As a good cause, you get your own dashboard, which helps you keep track of how your lottery fund is performing. Download marketing leaflets or even customize them to say what you need to. When you first log into your dashboard, the name of your dashboard will be across the top, along with any immediate actions for you to do. You'll also see a chart to show how your tickets are growing. If you click on the supporters button, this will take you to a page where you can see all the details of the people that are supporting your cause. You can use the supporters details to thank supporters or provide updates on how their support is helping. The leaflet button is probably the most important button on your dashboard. Here you will find lots of leaflets that we create especially for your cause. You will find both printable and digital versions with your own logo on. What's more, they're specially tailored for you as they send people straight to your page where they buy tickets for your cause. All you need to do is make sure you use these leaflets to spread the word and watch your funds grow. So, print off as many printable versions and hand them out to as many people as you can. People can even scan the QR code that we put on there for you, which takes their device straight to your page, so they don't need to search for you when they visit the lottery site. Download the digital leaflet and email it to as many people as you know. Your digital leaflets contain a special button which directs them straight to your page, where it only takes a minute to sign up and start raising money for you. What's more, you can even change the text on all of these leaflets using the Customize button, so you can create your own version with a special message, like what the money you raise will be used for. A new leaflet design is available every few months, so you can keep the advertising materials for your lottery page fresh. So remember, your dashboard is your most important tool and provides you with everything you need to enroll your own supporters. We do all of the hard work for you, so all you need to do is shout about your page, spread the word, and watch the money you are raising grow.
Okay, so that's a little video that explains a bit more about how the dashboard and things works. Worth just touching on a bit about the website. So we've mentioned it a few times, the CVSC Loto Lwcus.co.uk website address. It's obviously we worked together with community and voluntary support Conwy to develop the site. It's a lottery site that's on our platform at Gatherwell. So we have a platform that we run all the lotteries on, and as we make technical improvements to the platform, all of the sites that we have benefit from those technical improvements. So we have a roadmap of new features and things that we're developing all the time, and it just keeps the kind of website fresh and updated and what have you. For those that are interested, it's a fully secure and PCI compliant site. We host it in the cloud on Rackspace servers in the cloud, which is kind of guaranteed good uptime for us. And it's something called a responsive website. So it means that as people look at it on different devices, you might get a different iteration of the site, but the site is able to identify what kind of screen size you've got and therefore give you the best iteration for the size of screen that you're looking at it on. I mentioned support, so we're here to support you. So we've got a dedicated telephone number, so 01492 483 015. So the team is there ready to kind of answer any questions you might have as good causes, but also is there to support the players and such like as well. So if you've got any supporters that might want to help and support you but don't want to do stuff online, then that's the telephone number to direct them to. We'll obviously answer that as the name of the lottery, and we'll kind of be able to support there. We've got an email address as well, so support@cvslotolwcus.co.uk, and we also have some social media accounts that are associated to the lottery as well. So things like a Facebook and Twitter account that people will be able to kind of like and share and do those kind of things as we go through. We also use that to post out around when the draws are taking place and when the results are out. And occasionally we get people ask questions on those kind of mediums as well. So we're there to help answer any questions that players might have. So what's the role of the CVS in this? Well, they're the ones that are very much around kind of processing the good causes, and they'll be ones that are approving you to check that you hit the criteria. They're responsible for the overall scheme administration and such like. Now, the huge advantage of that is that because they're doing all the admin side of things, it means as good causes, there's no admin for you to have to do other than promoting the lottery. The CVS are taking the kind of responsibility for this in terms of doing that. So Community Voluntary Support Conwy are the ones doing the heavy lifting, and you guys can kind of benefit from that. I guess they're there for any good advice and best practice and such like, as they always are. But they're also going to be responsible for kind of doing the returns to the council to make sure that the lottery returns are kind of appropriately filed and what have you. And then one of the big roles that they're going to be playing is helping to support the kind of marketing and promotion of the lottery. So they're going to be about telling the general kind of story that this is out here. This is an opportunity for players and the local community to support. And then hopefully what you'll be able to do is piggyback on the back of that to really be able to promote it for your own benefit and encourage participants to support your cause specifically. I thought it might be worthwhile just touching on a few examples. So I mentioned Buckinghamshire Lottery on one of the marketing material slides, and it started its life as Vale Lottery some 5 years ago. And actually it's run by the local authority in, as was Aylesbury Vale District Council. Now the local authorities in Buckinghamshire have now all merged. So they kind of created Buckinghamshire Lottery as a kind of out of that when they merged because of the success it had. So they started with 40 good causes in the area, and when they first started, and we had some great kind of PR and TV coverage and what have you. What's the fantastic news now is that they've got over 300 good causes that are on that website, and they've raised over £500,000 for local good causes as a result. So a nice kind of story to see that in 5 years they've raised a lot of money supporting the local community and the local good causes with money that wasn't there before, because it's all generated through the platform. And then I've got some real life examples of causes that might be similar to yours. So the first is that one that we had on the marketing materials, Great Brickell Cricket Club. So I'm sure I don't need to explain what a cricket club is, but they kind of a village cricket club in one of the villages in Buckinghamshire. They joined at the start. They have 93 tickets, which means they're raising just shy of £2,500 a year from the lottery, and they've invested that back into their junior coaching. Now, I've got a few of these examples. So I asked each of them for a top tip on how they've used it. And I appreciate not everyone has a bar and therefore can't offer a free drink to encourage participation. But the reason I think this is a good example is because, and a good tip, is because actually, for 5 years of running, a large cohort of the players that are playing and supporting Great Brickell Cricket Club are the ones that they signed up at the start. So the fact is that if you can encourage people to sign up, find a way to get that encouragement to play, then because they support for the long term, the benefits can be vastly outweigh the cost of a free drink or equivalent that you might have for your organisation. So do think about ways to encourage participation, because the long term benefits can really pay dividends. The next is a little charity called Carers Bucks. Now, Carers Bucks are an independent charity that supports the well-being of unpaid family carers, and it's very much a kind of hands-on charity. The people who work for the charity are very hands-on delivering the service in people's homes, and they're not a big charity with a fundraising arm or anything like that. So anything that they do like this is kind of beneficial to them, because it's they're more practically delivering service rather than necessarily thinking about how to raise money for it. And they joined at the start. They've got 38 tickets. That means they're raising just shy of £1,000 a year. And the nice story that they have is that they were able to set up a support group, knowing that they had a regular kind of income coming from the lottery. They were able to rely on that income to be able to, secure a venue and have some nice teas and biscuits and nice things to be able to encourage people to come together, share their experiences outside of the home, and really kind of deliver on their plan over and above actually the kind of support that they give in the home. And their top tip was simply that they added their page to their email signatures. So as they communicated out, they encouraged people to sign up via their emails. The next example is Medical Detection Dogs, so another charity. And Medical Detection Dogs are a kind of charity that trains dogs to sniff out various things. And one of the things they do is train dogs to support type 1 diabetics with their blood control. And again, they joined in November 2015. They've got 94 tickets, which again means they're just shy of £2,500 a year. And obviously they spent their money on supporting and training their dogs. And their top tip was simply that they added it to their website. They put the link on the website, and then they used social media as a way of kind of promoting that to encourage participation. And the final example is a sports and social club. So in a tiny village called Brickell in Buckinghamshire. And again, joined at the start, they've got 43 tickets, which means they're raising just over £1,000 a year. And they've invested theirs back into their club premises and equipment. Now, their top tip was that them being such a small village, they were able to kind of print out some of the leaflets and quite literally walk them around the village to encourage participation. So that's the way that they did it. They leaflet dropped the village, and that was got all that participation. So hopefully you can see that's a relatively simple way to work, and there's a big commitment from Community Voluntary Support Conwy and ourselves to really make a difference to making it as simple as we can. If you sign up, you're going to get your own dedicated web page. You'll get access to those marketing materials, the dashboard of information, all that stuff. But most importantly, you're going to get 50p from every ticket that you sell from your page, and that gets paid into your nominated bank account every month. So we've got a bit of a request back of you, really. So if you sign yourselves up, we're going to set you the challenge of trying to get to 20 tickets within 4 weeks of your cause going live. Now, the benefit of setting a challenge is that actually this is for your benefit, not for ours. If you can get to 20 tickets, then that means you'll be raising £520 a year for your cause. And I'm sure you can all think of ways that that could benefit your organisation. Now, there's no upper limit or anything like that on tickets, but it's nice to set an easy challenge to go after. And to give it some context, 20 tickets equates to, on average, about 1.8 tickets per player. So actually, we're really talking about 10 to 12 people to sign up, and that could be raising for you annually £520 a year. If you do sign up, we really like you to have an email address that somebody is at the end of. So I say their staffed email address. So just, I don't care whether that's your personal email address, your work email address, the email address for your cause, just have someone at the end of it. We use email a lot as a way of communicating with you. So don't put it into your spam box and expect things to happen, because obviously we will be using that as a way to communicate with you. But don't think you've got to take that burden on just one person. You can have multiple administrators for the lottery. So do share it about and make sure that it's not just one person that takes on the responsibility. And then we always say, use the dashboard. It's where you can track your performance. It's where those marketing materials are. It's where you can identify, it's where you upload the bank details, and you can use it as a way to update your cause message. Don't feel you've only got one attempt at getting your cause message right. You can make frequent changes to that if you want. And then the final requests really are help us to help you. We find the best feedback that we get are the things that can actually make improvements to the platform. So if you've got ideas and development suggestions, please do make them, because actually we can help. We're keen to make the platform bigger and better for everybody. So that feedback can be really valuable for us. And then the final request really is to help spread the word. You're fortunate enough to be on the presentation and hearing about this firsthand, but I'm sure you can think of other causes that this might benefit. So if you feel this could be of benefit to another good cause, please do share this story and then let them be involved as well, because this is open to all the good causes. Right, final slide from me so that you can ask any questions is just some dates really. So today is very much about launching it to yourselves as good causes. We recognise, you might need to go back to your committees and have a chat about it as to whether you want to kind of progress and put yourself on the platform. So we're giving you plenty of time to do that. We're going to give you till the 23rd of February before we open the site to players. Now, that's not to say, you have to have signed yourself up by then. You can sign yourself up at any point in time, but the advantage of getting signed up by the 23rd of February is that's when we'll kind of go live with all the PR to players and what have you. So you might benefit from being part of that first wave. But similarly, we recognise it takes a bit of time to encourage people to buy tickets and what have you. So we're going to run till the 3rd of April before we have the first draw. So that'll be Saturday, the 3rd of April will be when we have the first draw. So that's the presentation. Has anyone got any questions?
Hi, Ben.
Hi there.
Hi. Just a couple of quick ones. First one is just from your experience. We're a charity, so donations that we get are eligible for gift aid also. Are you aware as to whether or not, because it is a donation coming from the ticket purchaser, the 50p, that is also eligible for gift aid support?
Unfortunately, it's not. So the purchase of a ticket isn't eligible for gift aid because effectively you're buying something. You're buying a chance to win something. The donations, if someone was to donate their prize, though, that could be considered as a donation and therefore could be considered for gift aid.
Okay, and just one other quick thing. I mean, I don't know, I can't remember what CVS sent through to us. Is this whole presentation available to us on a video? Because I would like to show this again to my team. Or at least your presentation, is that available to us?
Certainly, I'm quite happy for them to be shared. I can see the record there. It's being recorded. Whether everyone's happy to have this shared, I don't know.
Well, maybe Wendy might be able to give a chance.
Yeah, we should
Would be good to have something to show to committee members.
Absolutely.
Wendy, I don't know if...
It's Wendy here. Yes, we will be sharing as much as we can and as soon as we can.
Thank you, Wendy.
Good.
I can see there's a couple of messages in the chat thing. So someone's asked, Kerry has asked, can someone change their numbers, or do they have to stick to the same ones all the time? So the reality is, yes, you can change your numbers at any point in time. Obviously, the way it works is it rolls forward. So if you choose a set of numbers until such time as you change them, you'll keep those numbers every week, but you can change them every week if you so desired. Some people do. So the facility is there to change your numbers if you want to. And then Barbara has also asked, can you change your cause from month to month? So yes, similarly, you can change your cause to support a particular cause as well, if you wanted to. Most people though tend to stick obviously their support with the cause that they're motivated them to sign up to, but people can if they chose to. It's a one ticket, one cause relationship. So people can have one ticket to support one cause. They can have multiple tickets to support one cause, or if they wanted to, they could have multiple tickets to support multiple causes. The one thing you can't have is one ticket to support multiple causes.
I don't know if you can see my hand. There might be on a
I can
screen.
just about see. Yes, you kind of you cover it. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a light behind my head as well. It's not my halo. It's not my halo. Trust me. How long do people tend to play before they maybe drop off?
That's a really difficult question, because, as I said, we've got the Vale Lottery that then turned into Buckinghamshire Lottery. We've got a massive cohort of players that are the original players that first signed up for the thing. We do see a regular churn of players come and go, but often if people have got a relationship with a cause and they can see the value that you deliver as a cause, then they want to support, and this is a nice way to support for the long term. And because people got a chance to win something, it's not just like a straight donation. People can often stay for a considerable length of time. The Lotteries Council actually did some research in terms of people supporting charities and organisations via lotteries, comparably to kind of straight donation giving, and they found that people would more likely to stay for 3 times as long supporting a charity through a lottery than they would through just a straight direct debit give. So,
thank you.
Could I ask something?
Yes, sure.
I wasn't coming along I was thinking about a different charity, but then I thought about something as you're talking. If there was any local involvement, so in Wales there's something called Cytun, which is Churches Together. So I'm aware of the fact that it's faith orientated, but the outward looking of it is around food poverty, really. Is that all right? Are those sorts of groups okay to apply? Because I know sometimes people don't like faith-natured groups to get involved with stuff.
I'm going to let Wendy answer that. My view would be if you're delivering a service which is open to, which isn't kind of faith-specific in terms of its delivery, I think that's fine. But I think I can kind of understand why some kind of faith-based organisations might be excluded. So I'm going to let Wendy answer whether you're happy to let.
Yeah, Sian, it's a yes from me.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. Diolch.
Any other questions?
We've just got one more in the chat there.
Oh yeah. Is there an option for syndicates to take part? Yes, there is. In fact, if you go on the website, there's in the footer, there's a link to syndicates, and there's a syndicate form that we suggest people fill in, and they can kind of play as a syndicate. Some organisations have found, particularly if it's sort of a group that perhaps is less confident on the internet and what have you, that actually offering a solution whereby you kind of service the thing as a syndicate can be a way to encourage participation as well. So, if you're happy to take cash from people, obviously current environment makes it a bit of a challenge, but the capability to run a syndicate, and if you're happy to take cash, then that can be a way to increase participation.
What happens if we don't get 20 people in the 4 weeks?
Sorry, say that one again. I only got
What happens if you don't get 20 people in 4 weeks?
It's fine. There's no kind of penalty for not getting there.
I'm just thinking at the time it might be bit difficult getting 20 people.
Yeah. It's more as a kind of as a channel. You know, what we don't want people to do is just sign up and think through some form of osmosis they're going to pick your good cause. We're trying to encourage you to actively promote it and get involved. So there's no kind of penalty for not getting to 20 tickets. It's more for your benefit to get to 20 tickets, because then at least it starts to deliver you a decent return. There's a question: is this provided bilingually or just in English? Although you can probably tell I'm not Welsh or have any kind of ability to speak Welsh. The platform is bilingual, so you can go in, and if that's the way you want to use it, you can do that. So I can't comment on whether the translations are any good or not, but I'm sure Wendy and the team have done a very good job of validating the translations we did do. So.
Okay.
Okay. Any more?
Sorry, yes.
Jason's waving his hand again. Yeah.
I've muted myself. Sorry. How often are the draws?
So draws are every week. It's
Every
at 8
week.
o'clock on a Saturday. So yeah. So often I get asked the question, how are the draws done? So let me answer that question in view of the fact no one's answered it, but I'll answer it anyway. So we unfortunately don't have a big Lancelot machine and TV cameras or anything quite like that. So we actually take the result from the Australian Super 66 draw that takes place on a Saturday morning, and that becomes our result that we post at 8 o'clock on the Saturday evening. And before you all think there's a nice wheeze there where you can all go and win the jackpot, there isn't, because we have a cutoff of midnight on the Friday for entry into the Saturday's draw. So, and that's to facilitate the insurance, so that we can kind of get the entries into them in advance.
Can I just ask one more geeky question? With regards to the marketing materials, does the principal stuff, is it 300 DPI or is it 72 or whatever, on that 6?
And now you're asking technical questions.
Okay, sorry. No, it just affects prints quality, obviously. So,
Yeah.
It's all right. It's just curiosity. Don't worry.
I don't know. I can probably find out. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know.
That's fine. It's fine.
Any more?
No, I think that's it.
Just a question there from Fran about the application to CVSC. Initially, you'll appreciate that we, CVSC, have had a considerable outlay for us as a small charity ourselves. So it is towards admin cost initially. However, once we have kind of recouped our outlay, then it would go towards another funding pot. People that know CVSC know that we do have many different grant schemes, but we also have this small funding grant scheme whereby it is the staff that actually fundraise for causes. So it will probably go into there to bolster up that small grant pot that we have there. I think the other thing that hasn't been mentioned, which is worth mentioning, is the fact that this income that you will receive is self-generated, therefore clean, and you'll know what I mean when I say clean, no restrictions on what you use the money for, and therefore a fantastic match funding opportunity for any grant scheme that you want to go into where you need that percentage of match funding.
Would that be eligible though?
I'm sorry?
Would that be eligible for match funding?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
all right. Okay, that's good. That's great news, that.
Your self-generated income. This is what you were doing by fundraising. So just the same as if you'd done, like we used to when we could, raffle and coffee mornings and coffee evenings. Your money, you do what you want with it. I think it's fantastic.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Shane's asked, is this aimed at Conwy County area specifically or wider? So I think that the way that the terms and conditions for good causes to get involved is it's got to benefit the kind of residents locally. I think that's the idea. So it's you don't necessarily have to be based within Conwy or the kind of local area. You just need to be able to demonstrate that you're benefiting local residents in order for it to be included. We haven't made it clear that players can come from anywhere in the UK. There's no kind of restriction on players being locally based. They can come from anywhere. So get your friends and relatives and anyone else you can think of to get involved. They can come from anywhere as long as they're over 16 and based in the UK. They can play.
Do the good causes have to be in Conwy?
So yeah, so the idea is that the cause doesn't necessarily have to be in Conwy, but it has to benefit the residents of Conwy.
Right. Good. Brilliant.
Okay.
Started marketing that already.
Great stuff. So yeah, so the website went live. It's there for you to sign yourselves up on. So, you know, crack away and get yourself signed up.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you very much.
Fantastic to see you all. I'm eagerly waiting your calls, and I'm eagerly waiting to see all these good causes on that website.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sounds brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very pleased. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.